I've always been pretty good at turning even ordinary weeks into something a bit more adventurous. And when I travel for work, I usually get a little extra excited, because I know it's not just work. It's my chance to explore new locations in the area, find awesome mountain tops, go climbing, and so on. There is always something more to it. But not every trip turns out the way you imagine. And this was one of those trips. I packed my photography gear, climbing gear, gym wear. This time I decided to ditch my real mattress at home and try sleeping on my new inflatable sleeping mat in the car, thus saving some extra space in the car for more comfort. The only thing I left behind was my splitboard, but the weather forecast was so poor for the whole weekend, I certainly haven't had any big hopes. So, if you want to see what these work trips that I call vacations actually look like behind the scenes, come along. Hi there and welcome to my channel. This is the first road trip of this year, definitely not the last one, and I'm heading to Tromsø to photograph a proposal. Surprise proposal? Well, the guy is doing so much effort, so I guess it's not that big of a surprise for the lady, but we'll see how it goes. The temperature outside is 0 degrees Celsius and it's raining, and it's supposed to be pretty shitty weather in Tromsø too, like super windy, super rainy. Let's see how it goes. I'm gonna be car camping. This is the first car camping of this year and I'm very excited. I feel like I've been missing it actually. Yeah, let's go. Hello. So I arrived to Tromsø and the roads were nice and mostly clear from snow, so it went totally fine driving. But I feel so exhausted and I just parked in a parking lot in a shopping mall, and I set up my bed ready in case I need to just stop and go to sleep, because I feel like a good nap would do, but at the same time it's 7 p.m. so I think I'll just try to drive to my camp location and sleep there. Probably I'll go to bed early. I did some shopping. I didn't find all the stuff that I need. They have a photo shop, so of course I went there too. I found something, but not everything I need. But yeah, I think I'll just drive to my location and I'll try to get some sleep because it was a long day. See you around. Alright, so I propped up my curtains. I found actually by accident a new camping spot. I'll show it to you tomorrow. And now I think I'll just go to bed. I think it's 8:45. I don't think I have ever went to bed as early, but I'm still pretty exhausted and it's very dark outside. It's not so much to do, so I think I'll just go to sleep and sleep for a long time, hopefully. Okay, see you tomorrow. Good night. This is gold. You know, like when you travel, maybe not sleep. Oh, did they change the lock? Travel, not necessarily sleep very comfortably. having a good, proper cup of coffee in the morning is luxury. So yeah, that's what I do. If possible, I always make a proper cup of coffee. That's amazing. Perfect. Now it is perfect. Good morning. Now we're speaking a very good morning. Nice. Heavy rain, but I found pretty cool location actually. I don't think it will be the one because it's not enough snow, I feel. But nice beach, really beautiful. I kinda wanna go swimming, to be honest. Even in the places I'm familiar with, I like to check the locations before the photo session. Some of them work perfectly in gray weather, but are quite difficult in harsh sun. Other times the place is gorgeous, but only under certain weather conditions and in the certain seasons. And sometimes you don't see anything, because the rain and the fog took over, and the only thing left is to lean on the map, your knowledge of the light, and your photography expertise. So, I found a very cool spot for the proposal itself. It's a very new spot to me. I don't know why, I never discovered it before. Amazing place. Probably will be quite windy, but it's windy everywhere now, so I mean, yeah, it should work somehow. So the guy wants it to be a bit more staged, prepared, like looking really cool, with flowers, champagne and all the whole thing. So I'm gonna head back to Tromsø, pick up the flowers, pick up champagne, and then I'll come back here, set it up, and then when they arrive, I will just lead them towards the beautiful spot, and hopefully it will be surprise enough for the girl. Yeah, I'm quite excited about today. The light is beautiful at the moment. It's like dramatic sky, a little bit like, yeah, overcast and stuff, but it can change any moment, so yeah. I'm so excited. Also, I cleaned up my mess in the car, set it back to the like normal seating area, not just the bed. Yeah, so I'm ready to go. See you soon. I feel like a lot of girls, and guys too, go into some kind of bubble, where once they realize what the person in front of them is about to do, the world around stops existing. They don't notice me, they don't notice the cold, the wind. All that matters is the moment of proposal, and the thought that the question in front of them is a life-changing one. It is not about the ring or a beautiful white gown, It is about commitment to spend the rest of your life next to this person. After the successful proposal and some daytime photos, we had one more event waiting for us in the evening. So we headed to the hotel where my couple were staying for the night, and it took us 1 hour and 50 minutes of driving. Although Tromsø is a very popular place in Norway for Northern Lights tourism, it can be pretty difficult to get decent portraits of people under the Northern Lights here. You need a certain amount of darkness in the photo location you work at, and the best thing is when nobody is around. But here is why Tromsø becomes problematic. It is such a popular destination for the Northern Lights tourists. It makes it very hard to find secluded spots with little or no other tourists. And they are typically taking pictures too, using their own light sources, which can affect your pictures and your privacy. So working around other photographers when taking portraits under the Northern Lights is not easy. But we were lucky enough, and we found a great viewpoint next to the hotel, so we didn't need to go anywhere else, and we could use this awesome new location. After the photo session under Aurora, I drove for half an hour and found a camping spot for the night. I used an overlanding and camping app called Park4Night, and this spot worked pretty well, just to get some good night's sleep. By the way, this was my first car camping without my mattress, and now I can share some feedback. Did it work to use inflatable sleeping mat? Yeah, totally. Was it equally comfortable as a 10 centimeters thick mattress? Absolutely not. So, if you have space in the car, use a real mattress. But if not, then the sleeping pad works totally fine too. I'm so mad at myself that I didn't bring my splitboard. The weather forecast was showing horrible weather, so I thought like, I don't wanna put it in my already overfilled car, because I have so much stuff with me and I already need to constantly move it around, and I thought like, what's the point of bringing splitboard if I'm not gonna use it? And now it looks like the weather is pretty great and I wish I had it with me. Another thing is that I thought maybe I should go just for a hike, but like there are, I don't know how many winter hikes they have in Tromsø. I tried to do a small research yesterday night. I couldn't find anything, so at midnight I asked somebody on Facebook, like Facebook group, what hikes do you recommend that I can go without snowshoes, without like ski, stuff like that. And one lady recommended me a small hikes that I have already done before, and I was more keen to explore something new, like find some cool locations, especially for winter time. But the ones she suggested were kind of boring, so yeah. And diesel prices are extreme right now, and I kind of don't want to go too far away from where I am right now just for the sake of like one small hike. and then come back, and then I still need to drive home for 6 hours or something. So I thought like, okay, I guess the most logical is just to go home. So yeah, that's my plan for today. Okay, cheers. I'm not cooking coffee today because I don't know, I don't wanna. So yeah, see you on the road, I guess. Driving home, I was a bit sad that I didn't get to do any hikes, no climbing sessions, not even a tiny workout at the gym, and I didn't bring my gear to go splitboarding. But as a true optimist and person who always tries to make the best out of the situation, I started looking at some spots along the road where I could go ice bathing. Another cold plunge. I did it. Yeah, I don't know what this place is called, but it's a pretty cool cold plunge area actually, because I was looking for something without too much wind and preferably without too much waves, and preferably not right next to the road where everybody driving would see me, because you know it's not necessarily very cool to be next to the main road and ice bathing, changing and stuff. So yeah, I'm very happy about this place. I'm gonna plot it in my map just to be sure that I will remember it in case I want to do it one more time. Alright, now I'm definitely not gonna fall asleep behind the wheel. So yeah, let's go back home in Alta. This is great. This is really great. And this is my first warm coffee of the day, which is also amazing because, I mean, because it's coffee, obviously. And I think it's like, I don't know, 3:30, 4 maybe? Probably 4 actually. Oh no, of course. Well, of course. What else to expect? Perfect. And here we have some dessert, which is awesome too, because I've been driving for several hours and I deserve some dessert. Yeah. Check this out. It's like almost photographer's gloves, you know. I can pretend that I cut them out on purpose to collect my products. Although I was happy with the photo session and the work part of this trip, the whole trip didn't go the way I imagined it to be. No splitboarding, no hikes, none of the things that would typically make it feel like a real adventure. But maybe adventure isn't always about pushing harder or doing more. Maybe it's also this: sitting down with a coffee, nowhere to rush off to. Watching the clouds move across the sky and actually noticing it. When always chasing the next big thing, sometimes I forget just that the quiet moments count too. Not everything has to be type 2 fun to be meaningful. Sometimes it's enough to just be out there, present, with nothing to prove. And maybe right now, this is exactly what I needed. Home sweet home! Okay, I'm back to Alta. Now it just remains to unload my car, repack everything, wash all the dirty stuff and stuff like that. I don't necessarily want to do all of this unpacking, but who else would do it for me? Wish me luck with that. And thanks for watching. I see you in the next one. Bye!